The most common way of setting up the lighting in KeyShot is by using what is called HDRI environments. If you go to the Environment tab in the project panel, you'll see the spherical startup high dynamic range image laid out in a rectangle. What you see here is actually wrapped around and enclosing the product and provides the scene with the lighting, reflections, and determines how the shadows look. Zoom out to see how the environment is wrapped around the product. To change the environment, go to the Library panel and the Environment tab. Here's a selection of pre-made environments bundled into 4 categories: interior, outdoor, studio, and sun and sky. I hit the interior group and left-click the one called clothing store and drag it to the real-time view. I right-click in the real-time view and hit center and fit models to get close to the kitchen machine again. The expression of the model and the materials looks quite different now due to the different environment. The lighting is more contrasty, we see the reflections of the clothing store in the highly reflective bowl, and the background became quite busy as well. To keep the lighting and reflections, but change the background to a more neutral look, go to the Environment tab, go to the Background drop-down and select Color. Adjust the color if needed. Right now the reflections are still looking too busy for what I want for this shot, so let's try a studio environment. Instead of dragging it directly to the real-time view, I drag it to the environment list to create a new instance instead of overwriting the old one. Let's add in another one. I'll browse to the one called Overhead Array and drag it to the list. The list makes it possible to do individual adjustments to each of the environments in the list and quickly swap between them to determine what works the best. When an environment is in the list, you can do basic adjustments to it like adjusting the brightness and contrast and adjusting the height and the rotation. You can rotate an environment by dragging the wheel or hold down Ctrl while left-clicking and dragging in the real-time view. There are no rules for how the lighting should look, so use your eye carefully and pay attention to how the shadow falls, how the reflections look in the shiny parts, and if the product is looking too dark, too bright, or if it looks good when adjusting these parameters. When you are happy about an environment, hit the log icon next to it in the list. If you take a look at the project panel, you'll see a tab called Lighting. In this tab, you can adjust how the lighting is calculated in the scene. At default, it is set to basic. If I open up the drop-downs, we can see, for example, that the ground illumination and global illumination is disabled. If I change the preset to product, which I'll recommend to use in most cases for product setups like this, not only will the ground illumination and global illumination be turned on, but we will also get a higher shadow quality. If we take a look at the ground next to the kitchen machine, we can see that the ground is quite bright now. If you don't like this brighter look of the ground that the activated ground illumination causes, it can always be unchecked while keeping the other settings. This changes the preset from product to custom. If you find yourself using a specific custom setup often, you can save it by hitting the plus icon and give it a name, and you will be able to pick it from the list with a single click. With the lighting in place, let's move on and fine-tune the composition and do a couple of camera setups. For more KeyShot learning content, click on one of the playlists below. To make sure you don't miss out on any new content, subscribe to our channel by clicking the KeyShot icon in the center of the screen.